Hi everybody! Welcome back to U-Tips for You. It's Motivational Monday. Again, can you believe how fast these weeks have been going by? I really hope you had a great week last week. Well, how did you think you did? Are you one step closer to your goals? I really hope so. So let's start out with some shout outs, okay? And our first shout out is going to go to Diana Cervantes. And Diana's been doing my cardio workout for 6 weeks now. And she lost a total of 20 pounds. Now, how's that for being motivated? I thought that would really motivate all of you to stick with your exercise program like we talked about last week and all the things that we can do to stay motivated. And she lost 20 pounds doing those cardio videos. And I just think that's wonderful. And you keep going, Diana. That's fabulous. And our next shout out goes to Maria Malik. And Maria said she was gaining weight and she was not happy about it. She was so busy, but she started doing 20 minutes a day of my cardio videos, and she did push-ups and some other toning exercises, and now she said she is hooked. She loves exercising. She can't wait to do it every day. She doesn't feel right without it. It's become so much a part of her life now that she needs to do it to feel good. It's just second nature to her, which is another thing we talked about last week, is sticking with it long enough until it feels like a habit, it's second nature to you. And that's how Maria feels now. She feels wonderful. She feels like her goals are within her reach so that she can get the shape that she's always wanted and be fit and feel good about herself. I want to thank you all for your comments and for sharing things that you've done to help stay motivated. I've gotten such a great reception about these Motivational Monday videos, so we are going to continue them so you have your motivation coming every Monday. So today's motivation, I want to talk to you about staying on a healthy diet. Now, we all start out gung-ho on our diets, very optimistic, and we want to stay with our food plan and eating healthy, and of course, after a few days or weeks, we slack off. So I want to give you a few things to remember to help you stay motivated. First, I hope you'll look at that Food Bear video that I did where I talk about portion control and the different food groups. Just a great way to remember how to eat healthy. I want you to remember that when you go shopping to the grocery store, I want you to see the grocery store kind of from a big, top-down approach. It's a big square, and usually all around the periphery, around the outer edges of the supermarket are all the healthy departments. So if you walked in the front door and you went either right or left, chances are you're going to walk towards the vegetables or the dairy, and that's usually how it's set up, with the meats running along the back. So if you hit all of those peripheral areas around the outside of the supermarket, generally you're going to be sticking with healthy, fresh foods. Things that you have to prepare yourself, things that are not processed, and things that are not full of sodium. When you go into the inner aisles, that's where you're going to get things that have more salt, more sugars, more processed chemicals and preservatives and things like that. We want to kind of just stay away from that as much as we can. And you will have to venture into those center aisles for certain things like pastas and cereals and breads and stuff, but that's okay. What you want to try to avoid is doing a lot of your shopping in the aisles where you're going to add a lot of salt, sugar, fat, and things like that to your diet. Start out in the vegetables and fresh fruits and area and get lots of that. Put that into your diet. Cook them up fresh. Move on to, picking out your meats, fresh meats. You have to cook them. Make chicken. Make, ground lean turkey. It's always so easy to whip up very quickly. Turkey breast, turkey. Even, steak is fine. Try to get the lean cuts like the beef loin, sirloin. Choose those things. It's just some examples for you. Then you move on to, the dairy aisles, and you can get, the skim milks and the yogurts, and even egg beaters and eggs are good for you, and things like that. Think fresh, think, that you're going to prepare it yourself, and prepare enough ahead of time so that you can either bring things to work with you or have them ready for when you come home from school or work so you can eat healthier. And always be aware that whenever you choose something that's already prepared for you, that you're giving up something to get the convenience. And usually you're giving up quality. So for the convenience of having something prepared for you, what you're going to get is more salts, more sugars, sometimes trans fats, oils. You have to look at the labels to know what you're getting. Be careful with the sodium levels. I sometimes will look at something and think it's a great idea for the family. I'll see the sodium content and I'll say, forget it. Too much sodium. Even when you buy things like the lean cuisines and the Weight Watchers items and things that are already prepared for you, microwavable, look at the label. Look at the sodium content. Think about that. Think about if you would add that much salt to your food if you were preparing it. Probably not. And then there's so many other ways to enhance flavor. So for example, if you buy something, if you want to make your own pasta and you can add a little bit of flavoring, tomato sauce or sour cream or with a little Parmesan cheese, something like that, you're going to make it so much healthier for yourself with less salt, less sugars, less fats than if you buy something that's either frozen or prepared for you already. So keep those types of foods, that type of eating to a minimum. Also, I want to just encourage you to avoid fast foods. It's always so easy to just, on the way home, you stop, you get something quick, whatever. It's quick, but again, you're giving up the quality of the food. It tastes good and everything. I don't mean that. What I mean is you're getting salts that you don't need, sugars, fats, things like that. So try to go somewhere or get something that's more healthy. Like I find that I really don't have a lot of choices for eating out on the run. The way I like to eat. So I'll try to find some place that has salads. I like Chipotle because I can make a wrap there and I can pick and choose what I want to put in it. I like that. I'll get Chinese food if I need something, takeout, and I'll try to decide, I won't get the fried type versions of the foods. I'll get more the sauteed things or even things that are steamed that, don't have any flavorings and I can add the flavoring myself. Those of you who love salads, and I'm a salad lover as well, always be careful how much dressing that you have on your salad. It's a really hidden fat adder. And if you go to a restaurant and you're eating out, be careful that they don't drench it with dressing. It's always best for you to ask for your dressing on the side. You will never usually put as much dressing on your salad as they will for you. You really don't need that much. And then you can decide with your spoon and, twirl it into your salad how much that you want to consume of that extra fat. And dressing is good for you because it's a good fat, especially if it has olive oil and things like that in it, because it helps you absorb the vitamins that are in your salad. But again, too much of it and you've just turned your salad into something that's now very calorie laden. So, keep that in mind when you go out to eat or when you prepare your own salad, to use the dressing sparingly. So I hope that motivates you for this week to think healthy. Review that video that I did. Stick to the outer areas of the supermarket where the healthy foods are. Prepare your own foods. Watch the sodium and sugar content of foods. Always try to avoid trans fats. Even if sometimes they say 0 trans fats, I want you to look at the label and see if it has any trans fats in it, because sometimes there's 0.5 or whatever, it's still in there and it's something that's unhealthy and we don't want it in our diet. So we can all eat healthier if we just focus on how to bring better foods into our homes, how to prepare things ahead of time so that when we're starving and we come home, it's there, it's ready for you. Steam your vegetables ahead of time. Make some chicken cutlets in the oven. Make more than you normally do. And then they're in there when you come home from work and you're starving or from a workout. You whip it up quick and you don't have to reach for unhealthy things. And have lots of stuff around that you can snack on that are healthy, that, while you're preparing your foods, yogurts, carrots, fruit. They give you lots of vitamins. So your exercises for this next week is going to be this. Every time you eat something, I just want you to write it on a piece of paper. We're not going to count calories. We're not into that. What we're going to be looking at is whether we're getting enough variety in our diet and whether we're hitting all the food groups. So for example, for breakfast, let's say you have a glass of orange juice, maybe a piece of fruit, a banana say, and a bowl of cereal. And that's going to be your breakfast. Write it down. And then come later on, you want to eat again. You can see what you've had. You've had dairy, you've had grain, you've had fruit. What can I add? Let me choose something now as the day goes by that I haven't eaten so I can have more of a variety of vitamins and minerals to make sure that my diet is balanced and healthy and I'm really doing the best I can for my body. And always think healthy, fresh. Okay, so we had that. Let's see. Maybe I'll go into the vegetables area too. I'll have some more protein. If it's a snack, maybe you can have some nuts or some nut butter and maybe a few carrots or an apple, something like that. Or if it's lunch, you can have chicken, a meat, any meat of your choice, and a vegetable of your choice. And perhaps you need a little carb to keep you going. So you have a little bit of pasta or something, or a sandwich is always a great complete food. A wrap or a sandwich, and you've got all your veggies in there and your protein. So now you've already collected in your day. You've collected, your calcium and your protein, and you've got your fruits, your vitamin C's, your vitamin B's are getting in there. And as your day goes on, just write it down. No calories, just write down, I had a chicken sandwich with, lettuce and tomato, and I had a glass of milk. And then say, okay, look, I've had my 2 dairies already. And they suggest 4 servings of dairy daily. So you're that much closer. And if you had a piece of cheese in there, well, you've had 3 servings. You're doing great. You're what? Once you write things down and see exactly what you're doing, it helps you be honest with yourself. You see how much you consume in a day. You see where the desserts are. If you have to write down that dessert, sometimes you might think twice about having it. So writing down I had a brownie or a cookie or 5 cookies or whatever, and then you go back and you look at that and you say, I had 5 cookies. You didn't forget about it like you can do as the day goes on. And you might say, I'm not going to go and have something sweet now. I've done that already. Let me choose something else. Let me have some nuts, or let me have some, pretzels. I'll dip it in a little peanut butter or into some cream cheese, something like that. So that's going to be your exercise for this week. And then you can review it at the end of the day and say, have I hit all the food groups? Am I eating a well-balanced diet? And, they don't have to be large portions. Even if you just have a little bit of something, it still counts. I don't think we all have to consume pounds and pounds of something just to get a certain amount of nutrients. Your body takes what it needs, and it'll tell you when it's hungry. And only eat when you're hungry. And your tummy will tell you when you're hungry. So you listen to that. Okay, so before we sign off, I want to share with you a favorite thing. And one of my favorite things is romantic comedy movies. I love them. I'm a big fan, and I love to be entertained when I watch movies or go to the movies. I find that it lifts my spirits, and it makes me laugh, and it's happy, and I love happy endings. And one of my favorite movies is Just Go With It with Jennifer Aniston, Adam Sandler. I love their kind of dynamic together. They're really funny. It's a funny, funny movie. I've watched it, I don't even know how many times. It's a fun movie. It takes place in Hawaii. It's a lot of laughs, and that is one of my favorite things. I love romantic comedy. So, I hope you enjoyed this video. I will see you next Monday. I want you to stay on track. Let's make it through the week. Let's get to Friday, then we can reward ourselves. Okay, so please subscribe because I have a lot more to come, and you want to make sure you're a subscriber because that way when I upload all these Motivational Mondays every Monday, you get a little notice on your homepage that I just uploaded a new video, so it's real important. And please visit me at my blog spot where I do a lot of writing, and I'm on Facebook and Twitter, so please like my page and please visit me there, and we will stay in touch as well there. And I will see you soon. So have a wonderful day, have a wonderful week, and I will see you next Monday with our Motivational Monday check-in. Okay? Take care now. Bye-bye.